Hi guys, Debbie DuBois here. We are getting ready to do our weekly Oracle Outlook. This is going to cover from Monday, December 3rd until Friday, December 7th. And this reading is basically concentrated towards people on a catalytic heart awakening path, although it doesn't have to be limited to that. That would include twin flames, twin souls, sacred partners, people in sacred unions, or people who are motivated to get into sacred unions. But it also applies to anyone on the ascension path that has, things that they're trying to clear, things that they're trying to work through in order to ascend into their highest aspects. And so I started this reading a couple of weeks ago, and I guess it was probably almost 8 weeks ago. And if you haven't seen this reading before, what I do is pull a shamanic healing card, and we take a look at what is a great thing to work on for the coming period of time. I do this for Monday through Friday, and I also do it through the weekend. So, what I really like about this reading is that really, though I concentrated on a particular, period of time, it honestly, if you come upon this reading and you find yourself drawn to it, it just means that this may be something that you need to work on. And this is giving you, I want to say it's for focus. This gives you something to focus on for your clearing. So, giving it a good shuffle. I'll put this over here, and we're going to go ahead and find out what we are going to work on this week, Monday through Friday. All right. Now what I do is I just basically take the first card that comes up. It was a really, really great weekend. Very much looking forward to the coming week. There we go. Movement into balance. All right, let's look at this. Movement into balance. Wasn't that interesting? Because most of us know that as sacred partners, or as those of us who are on the ascension path, there's a lot of balancing that we need to do between the feminine and the masculine energies. And really, everything about ascension is very much related to how we can balance those things that are taking place in our life, balancing career and home, balancing, financial expenditures with savings. I mean, if you look at it, everything they talk about, no matter what you do, when you do too much of it, it's a bad thing. For us to be in our balance is really what mastery is all about, actually. So let's take a look. What I typically do, if you have not seen one of these readings before, is I pull out the Shamanic Healing booklet, because I like to find out the very specific things that it says with regards to this particular card. So it says, the sun balances the moon just as the earth, the water, and the sky remain in precious balance. So you are moving from unbalanced ideas and lifestyle into a more balanced way of being. A situation may call for some tweaking to adjust it into a balanced mode. Look at the energies and emotions you are putting out to the universe, your world, your relationship, your goals. Balance that with the energy you are allowing yourself to receive. The body inherently tries to maintain a state of balance. So do our souls. If you are not receiving enough, you may be unconsciously giving more to restore a perceived balanced state. That's interesting. Step out of that automated response and listen to your guides and your soul for what the situation truly warrants. Isn't that interesting? That really pops out at me personally. If we are not receiving enough, we may actually give more of ourselves to restore what we perceive as an imbalance, and we feel like we're bringing balance to it. Wow. So that's very interesting, because that is something that if I were doing this reading for myself, that's exactly what I would be looking at is, how is that true for me? That is something about balance that I've not really ever thought about. How many times we go in and give more and give more. And so many light workers, let's do this deck first. So many light workers do that. They give so much of themselves and they work so hard to help everybody, right? But we might have to ask ourselves this question. Are we not receiving enough? Are we not perceiving the receiving? Are we not allowing ourselves to receive? Interesting. Well, let's talk about, as we, that's one area of movement into balance. I think that there are other areas of balance, and it depends on who you are, how this movement into balance will come into play. So you may really be trying to move into a balance of feminine, masculine energy with your doing and being. Let's see what the cards say in terms of what we need to surrender. This card is the surrender deck, and I'm afraid I don't have this particular deck in front of me. Let me see if I do. Yes, the surrender deck is Judith Orloff. Right, so I do have that. There's a card that's just sitting here that wants to come out. Right there. Let's see what it says. Surrender to spirit. Okay. Once you've done everything you can do to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. All right. And by the divine, I mean, we're just looking at, turning this over to spirit, turning this over to our higher self, turning this over to God. And when I think of this, I mean, it does say, let spirit work its magic for you. One of the things that I have learned on this path is that no matter what it is we're trying to work on, when we are dedicated and focused on working on something, which right now, let's say we're looking at working on movement into balance, by setting the intention to surrender to spirit in this particular path, we actually create all of our entourage, our guides, the ascended masters, the angels, those people on the other side of the veil, all right? We actually inspire them to help us on these things that we put our attention on. So once you've put your attention on, we're going to move things into balance. We're going to figure out how to give and receive equally, how to be and how to do equally. Once we set our intentions, spirit can kind of take over, gives you homework assignments, gives you guidance on the path. So this is, in order for us to do this, what we need to let go of is the need of controlling it ourselves, letting our ego say, okay, now that we're going to work on movement and balance, what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. No. Spirit, your entourage, those beings here with you on this walk that you have every single day, excuse me, they are going to help you. So we're going to let them help you work the magic. And then let's see, what is the reason for this? Okay, what is the purpose? I'm going to do a little bit of shuffling. All right. Let me see here. Let's give this a little bit of a shuffle. I did shuffle quite a bit before we started. So I'm just giving it a couple extra shuffles here. And let's go ahead and find out what the purpose is for this and what it has to do with balance. Why do we want to work with balance? What does this actually help us to achieve? There you go. Huh. A card that came up yesterday, or I'm sorry, it was Saturday for the weekend. Freedom. Freedom is one of my favorite cards. Now, I think I pulled the Freedom card for the weekend. The Freedom card was for, it was the Ascended Masters deck, Freedom. This says you're free to do what you choose to do. All right? So you're going to, when you surrender to Spirit, Spirit gives you opportunities. All right, opportunities then you can then choose from in order to move forward on this path. So I like to think about this path as being a path of consciousness. As we become more and more conscious, we start to see the ways that Spirit steps in and helps us work on the things that we have called forth and set an intention to work on. And once we set these intentions and Spirit comes forward, we become conscious of what's in front of us, and then we have the opportunity to choose to do what we want to do with it. And that in itself is a great deal of freedom. But what I love is that you can choose to do what you want to do, and that is what would be considered free will to some extent, although there are some people who believe, you know, you will choose what you choose because you decided a long time ago you were going to choose it. Free will can be a funny thing, but freedom is, I want to say, the way I think of freedom is it's more about your state of being and less about anything else. Because your state of being, when you feel free, it's that sense of ease and knowing you're in the flow, and that you don't have to be afraid, and you don't have to take control and fight for situations and everything. Freedom is the peace of mind and the letting go. And I would say that freedom is when you get to that place, it's really about being able to flow from one moment to the next to create your moments of now, one moment at a time. All right, so let's find out how this is going to affect us from a career standpoint moving into balance. And this can be, again, here, look at, this is the above and below. It's the balance between the moon and the sun, the night and the day. How many different ways can we create balance? Well, we are on a planet right now of duality. So we have, you know, two aspects of almost everything. So we want to create that balance. And you know, they talk about also, they talk about twin flames, that when twin flames incarnate as one being and they split that energy into two separate bodies, they tend to come in a lot of times working on same central issues, but on polar opposite ends. And what this path does is actually help you move back into center on those issues. And so that is another way of moving into balance as well. And you could say that there's the feminine masculine energy between two bodies, but there is also the feminine masculine balance within each person. So anyways, all right, let's go ahead and do this one more shuffle. And let's cut this deck and let's find out how this coming into balance is going to affect our income, our abundance, our career. There it goes. All right. Let's see what it says. Balancing. Oh, okay. All right. In terms of balancing, donation, tithing, and charitable work. Give joyfully. I'm going to let you see this card first. All right. Give joyfully to the organization and people who spiritually support and inspire you and know that your generosity will be returned to you manyfold in miraculous ways. The time, supplies, money, or other resources you donate will ensure that your positive energy multiplies. Okay, balance. All right, here is a way of working on balance at this time of year. Think about what time of year we're at. We have a lot of people that are in need, and there are little ways that we can help others. Sometimes we are the ones that need a little bit of help, and there's a balancing that goes on between having, needing, wanting, have not, and at this time of year, we can go into our own hearts and our own knowing and find out, how do we bring balance to that? If we have an abundance of material, we may want to donate to other people who don't. But if we don't have, let's say, a lot of company, we might want to bring in other people and their willingness to donate some time to be with us to balance that out. So at this holiday season, this is a perfect time to look at, we're right moving into the holiday seasons at the beginning of December. And we can take a serious look at, how are we doing? And is there a way that we can bring balance to our own world when it comes to giving and receiving? There are things that can come to you if you need it. And there are things that you can give to others if they need it. So that's a really great card for bringing into balance, especially in this season. All right, now let's look at our love life. I know a lot of people like, oh, I'm very excited to see what the love life cards are. This is Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels. So we'll take a look at that. Bringing things into balance. Let's see what else we get on bringing things into balance. Gosh, in every single thing that we do, balance is the key. You can spend way too much time working out at the gym, or you can spend no time at all, right? That's the two ends of the spectrum. The key is, do you go, go a couple times a week, or, in other words, can we bring balance? We can eat really healthy, but is there a way to bring more balance to that? Eat really healthy, but don't deprive yourself to where you feel like miserable. Or, get some rest. Get some rest, but, don't sleep your life away. It's just everything in balance. All right, let's see what these cards have to tell us. I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick cut. All right. Let's see. What about our love life and our union? Let's find out how we're bringing stuff into balance within our union, how it affects our union, our relationships in general. And then sometimes cards pop and sometimes they don't. Alrighty. There it goes. That one flipped right out. Love when it does that. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Balance, give and receive. The message is still there, giving and receiving, right? So, it is safe for you to love. That brings in a whole brand new thread of vibration for me. Safe to love. Balance between giving and receiving. Remember when we went to this first card, it was talking about how much are you giving? Are you feeling that you're lacking? So you give, so that you will feel like things are more in balance. In other words, we don't even realize sometimes that, everybody out there is us. So if we don't feel like enough is coming in, we feel like we have to give to make up for it. That's interesting. All right, so now we're getting a card that is saying, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. But it's not give. It's safe for you to give, love, is it? No. It is saying it is safe for you to receive love, because to love is to give and receive. If you are only giving love, I love this person, I'm giving to this person, I'm going to do all these things for this person, but you don't allow yourself to receive the love, then you are not loving. You are not feeling the safety to love. We think of love as, oh, it's not safe to love, because if I love, I'm going to get hurt and they're not going to return my feelings, or they're going to say things to me that hurt me, or, there's a million ways we can say it's not safe to love. But the truth is that in doing all of that, we actually close our heart to love. And when we do that, we are not loving. No matter what we do, if we're not receiving the love, we are not loving. So you are now getting the message. It is safe for you to love. So let's bring some balance into that giving and receiving. All right. That is great. All right. Last card we're going to pull is the Ascended Master card. I always love to pull a card after I've done all the other cards. The Ascended Master deck is my first deck, and one that I did a lot of work with when I first got it. And let's just see which Ascended Master has a message for us. It's fun, when I look at the Freedom card and I'm looking at Safe for You to Love. Biggest thing in this whole connection is being free to love. And we can't always be free to love until we get rid of these patterns. And the patterns that keep us feeling it isn't safe to receive love. Or maybe we have patterns to shift and change that we've received the wrong kind of energy that isn't actually love, and we didn't draw our boundaries and say, hey, this isn't love. This isn't what I'd like to receive. In other words, yeah, that's bringing it all into balance. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Ascended Master card that we're gonna get. All right, let's clip these cards. All right, let's see, what final message do we have for this coming week? All right, I've got two cards. The first one that I see is see the other person's point of view. That's the one I'm going to go with, but I'm going to keep this card out separately, because when I get a card, I look at it to see how it fits in and if it does fit in. If it doesn't fit in, then it really wasn't supposed to be. See the other person's point of view. All right, we're gonna talk just a bit about seeing the other person's point of view when it comes to moving into balance. All right. When we seek to bring ourselves to a situation, sometimes it's very hard for us to look outside of our own viewpoints. And this might be a little bit about where the balancing comes in. Sometimes we only know how to see our own perspective, and that can bring a great deal of imbalance to a situation. So if we end up trying to fly high above a situation and we try to see from the other person's point of view, we are oftentimes more able to approach things from a balanced perspective because we are not locked into our only our way. All right. Now, because we've surrendered to spirit, all right, when you surrender to spirit, this right here is often going to bring you the information that helps you see the other person's point of view. Because spirit has a way of making sure, either through someone's spoken words or a message you get from a television movie or whatever, you get some realizations, or someone you talk to helps you to see something differently in order to come into a more balanced perspective. So, and I'm going to take a quick look at this card to see what came out. Oh my gosh, we've got double freedom. This is the same message card that came out yesterday. I keep saying yesterday. Feels like yesterday. It was 2 days ago for the weekend reading. So here we are once again. Freedom is the overall message of this reading as well, because the balance is critical in order to achieve the freedom. We're going to pull that message out again, which is what I like to do. We're going to look at movement into balance. The sun balances the moon just as the earth, water, and sky remain in precious balance. So you are moving from unbalanced ideas and lifestyles into a more balanced way of being. That is what ascension is. Ascension is moving all things into balance. We do that through surrendering to our highest good, which is backed up by our entourage. Our entourage on the other side of the veil is always going to bring you those things. So a situation may call for some tweaking to adjust it into balance. Maybe you need to see someone's point of view, right? Maybe you need to look at what you have and find out, are you giving too much? Are you receiving too much? How can you balance that out? Right. It says, look at the energy and emotions you're putting out to the universe, your world, your relationships, or your goals. Are you opening to giving and receiving? All right. Here's the energies and emotions you're putting out into the world. It's giving and receiving. And are you doing that in equal balance? The body inherently tries to maintain this state of balance, and so do our souls. So if you're not receiving enough, you may unconsciously be giving more to restore a perceived balance. We talked about that. Step out of automatic response and listen to your guides and your soul for what this situation truly warrants. So there you go. You're going to get a lot of help this week. So, when I look at this reading, I'm doing this reading really for myself, just like I am for you guys. All right. Now, what I'm starting to say is, okay, so what's really important for me to remember is things are likely to come out of balance in some way. And my focus is going to be on remembering to surrender to my higher guidance, surrender to my angels, surrender to my ascended master guides, whoever is walking with me. I'm one of those people that I know I'm always surrounded by beings. I'm not the person that tunes into, oh, it's this being and that being. Some people do, and I don't, but I do know that everything that I've got at my disposal is sitting right there, giving me everything that I need. So, and the double freedom card is telling me, and should tell you, that bringing things into balance from an ascension standpoint means freedom. And yes, it can be the freedom to choose what you prefer, and that's great, but it's also the freedom of your state of being. Feeling that you are free to be your authentic being without blocks. All right. So we got an extra card on that one. I'm going to leave it there, that freedom is where we're headed with all of this effort that we're putting in. And this freedom translates into relationships. You cannot have a relationship, a really true sacred union, without both people feeling completely free to be who they authentically are, without this need, this codependency. This is what we're breaking. We're breaking out of that into freedom. So that's the message of the day for the coming week. Now, just as a reminder, we have a workshop coming up December 9th. There's a link below to it if you'd like to find out more information. It's Twin Flames and Beyond, and we're going to be looking at the paradigm shift. We have many really interesting topics. Marla's going to be talking about like the astrology and the nature of the shift of astrology and where it's been and where it's going. I'm going to be talking about clearing techniques. We're going to talk about, how to come into your own authentic power when you're in moments where you really need help with clearing. Kelly is going to talk about, she's going to talk a little bit about same sex twins, but she's also going to talk about the dynamics of the soulmate and karmic, what people call karmic partners, and how we can, benefit from that. And then Rob and Angie are going to talk about, what you need to do to be, in union, and first within yourself and then others. And of course, we're going to have Q&A. We're going to do some grounding exercises. We're going to do manifestation exercises. It promises to be a really full-packed 4 hours of great stuff. So we'd love to see you there. We're charging $47 for it, which is really, really reasonable considering that, sessions with any one of us would be considerably more than that. And you don't have to travel. That's the beauty of it. You get to just, be in your own sacred space. You don't have to be on, online or anything. We'll be taking questions so you can participate, and it will be recorded. So in case you miss it, you would still have access to it. And we are not going to be giving this workshop away ever. So if you want to see it, you'll want to, participate. We may end up having it later, but it would probably be a little bit more. We really want you guys there. We want the energy of the community there so we can work on all this energetically together. So anyways, I am Debbie DuBois, and you can reach me on True Sacred Union. I love playing with these crystals. I love surrounding myself with my crystals. I bought a bunch in Banff, and I'm like really crazy about them. So I'm playing with them all the time. But anyways, you can find me. My website is True Sacred Union. I am True Sacred Union on Facebook, also on YouTube. You can find, I have 2 Facebook groups, True Sacred Union, of course, and Raising Vibrational Frequencies. And of course, go ahead and follow me or friend me on Facebook if you want, Debbie DuBois. And thank you so much for taking this time to spend it with me. I will be doing another reading this Friday night and uploading it for Saturday morning for the coming weekend. And we got a few other things I think we're doing this week. So be on the lookout, Facebook friends and YouTube subscribers. Please do, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. It would mean so much to me. Alrighty, well, thank you, and I say namaste.